Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Play Morrowind with Sorcerer Dave and Fathis Ulven, everyone's favourite Dark Elf agent who's remarkably incompetent for someone who was deemed dangerous enough to be thrown into a prison for over 100 years, but hey, you know. We're in Vivec, as you can see. That's an Ordinator. Is he going to call us scum? No, he's just going to stop and stare at us for a bit. Okay, horses for courses and all that. We're in Vivec City on a mission from Caius. Our Blades liaison, or whatever you'd call him. Handler, I suppose, would be the modern term. Who has sent us here to gather information from a number of informants of his about the there we go, I got about, what, 56 seconds into the video before I mucked up my first Morrowindy word. He sent us to ask them about the Nerevarine cult and the Sixth House cult. So, that's what we're here to do. Last time we spoke to Hulia, the Argonian Morak Tong guy, who quite rudely brushed us off when we asked him about joining the Morak Tong. He said we weren't ready, to which I took great exception. Or, well, no, Fathis took great exception. As far as I'm concerned as a player, he's probably fucking right. But anyway. Yes. We're going to go look for the Morak Tong, though. We are, because we reckon that they're to be found somewhere within the Arena Canton. Now this one here I think is the Redoran Canton, because I recognise the logo on the banners here. But the Arena Canton should be nearby. That might be over there. Just because I don't know what's on that banner. I can't tell. It's a bunch of daydream writing. So my best guess is that's probably it. Of course, I could pay a gondolier to escort me there, but we're actually a bit low on cash right now. Very low on cash. We've only got 161 gold to our names right now. Money's seriously hard to come by in this game. I'd forgotten just how hard to come by it was. Well, I don't know if that's strictly speaking true. I think money's relatively easy to come by, but the problem is you have lots of upkeep costs in this game, like repair for your armor and weapons, and training for skills, and travel costs and that sort of thing, and the occasional bribe as part of a quest, you know, so... As well as just topping up on potions and that sort of stuff. So you don't really have a lot of spending money in general to... Wow, okay, that's not a bad view, is it? That over there, I believe, is High Faeryn, and oh look, there it is, the Ministry of Truth. Told you, it's a great big bloody asteroid moon thing floating around up there. Got a bit of a glimpse of it sooner than I thought we would. But we'll see more of that later. This is the Arena Canton, as I suspected. So, up we go. And if I recall correctly, yeah, this is the place where you can train your acrobatic skill. Going up these slope things, because you can just jump really quickly. Ordinator over there. What time is it? It looks like it's getting towards evening. It's 4 PM. Yeah, the horizon and the sky is beginning to take on a yellowish sort of tint. I figured it might be evening soon. So, Arena. Welcome to the... It's very poorly lit, isn't it? Hello, farming. This is the sacred city of Vivec. Count your blessings. Can I help you find someone in particular? Or are you just looking around? See, Sean Wen is in charge of the gladiators and their training here at the arena. He's a former grand champion of the Imperial City Arena. Some fighters live and train here. Imperial guildsmen are in the foreign quarter. Redorans are in Redoran compound, blah blah blah. Yeah, he's just giving us general information there now. Who are you? Lency Laram. I am she. Gladiator in training. I was born and raised near Cull. I like that area. I love the sea coast and the land around Cull. But staying in Cull is something I couldn't do because there is nothing there to grow into. No advancement, no life except being a wife and a mother, growing old, dreaming of the places you should have visited. No, that life was not for me, so I left. eventually I came to another place on the seacoast, Vivek. I don't know how long I'll stay here either. Okay, thank you for your life story, I guess. You are Alvira Othrenim?
What is this about?
Take off, Oh, you're another cultist lady. Let's leave you alone. We came here to ask about the 6th house, but we didn't come here to ask you. Arena Canal Works. Arena Fighters Training, right. Thankfully, better lit than the corridors outside. Silver Longsword, nice. Mivil Molor. Drill Master. You got for training. Very good. Cool. Join the Morag. I see them from time to time, but I do not know where to find them. Ooh, can I ask around here about joining the Morag Tong to random people, and I might find out some information? That's pretty cool. Join the Morag Tong. Do not know where to find them. Well, I don't know why I asked an Ordinator of all people, but then again, the Morag Tong aren't illegal or anything, so I guess I might as well. Seanwen. Ah, you're the guy who trains everybody, apparently. And these are practice dummies. Brilliant. Come on, Fathis. You can't miss the practice dummy. That's just embarrassing. You'll notice I'm doing side swipes with this longsword, by the way. Whereas with the daggers and short swords, I do stabs. Now, the way it works in Morrowind is, if I go to the preferences and I turn off always use best attack, if I stand still, I do an overhead attack. If I move to the side, I do a swipe attack. And if I move backwards, I do a stab attack. Now, this is a leftover from the way Daggerfall's combat worked. But in Daggerfall, what you did was you swiped the mouse down while attacking, like that, to do one type of attack, and you swiped it left to right to do another type of attack. I have it normally set to use best attack because, as you can see, chop, slashes, and thrusts do different levels of damage with different weapons. The longsword, for example, does more damage with a swiping attack. Now, I use the always use best attack command thing there in the options menu because it saves me having to crab walk around the place when I'm trying to attack an enemy with this sword, for example. So, in case you weren't sure how that worked and were wondering why my animation had changed, could you not walk in the way of the dummy when I'm swinging at it, you stupid guard? Oh, have you noticed that at the bottom left, the dummy actually has health? Huh. Wonder what happens if we kill it. Alright, that's enough of that. I will do a bit more of that, but I'm going to do it off screen. Seanwen. Could you stop walking into the wall for a second, please? Well, it's a Dark Elf. Interesting. I'm Sean. Interesting, really. In the Dark Elf homeland, it's interesting to find a Dark Elf, is it? I'm Seanwen, the Arena Master. Have you come here to join the gladiators to train in their ways, or are you here about the poisoned gladiator? Hello, what? It's important that different types of gladiators be appropriately paired, the advantage of one being compensated for by the strength of the other. There is no valor in defeating a weaker opponent. Gladiators are evenly matched, but not identically so. It is asymmetry that is considered so intriguing. Each type has its own particular weapons, strategies, and skills, and only by comparison can they be demonstrated. Gladiators who are similarly armed, therefore, rarely compete against one another. Fair fights are for suckers, mate. As far as Fathis is concerned, anyway. Yeah. It's a quote, what was that line from A Knight's Tale? When they're sat there at the joust and they're watching the knights, and the baddie sat there with his henchmen, and they're watching the good guy on his horse beating the shit out of everyone in the jousts. And he turns to his henchman and he says, "How would you beat him?" And his henchman replies, "With a stick while he's asleep." Which I think is a great quote, and it's probably sums up Fathis' opinion of all this valor and honor stuff. Poison Gladiator. A Khajiit gladiator, a Cathay rat named Zodakar, died during a match in the arena recently. The match was not supposed to be to the death, so imagine my surprise when I found he actually died of poison instead. His opponent was a fairly new gladiator, the orc Gorgo Groshura. I had no choice but to have Gorgo arrested while we tried to sort out what happened. I've been trying to restore the Vivek arena to its glory and bring in the crowds and the profits again. This only hurts my efforts. I am offering a reward for whoever finds evidence proving Gorgo guilty or innocent. If you're interested, you can start by going to talk to Gorgo in the arena holding cells. He's under arrest until he's proved innocent. If he's guilty, he'll be executed most likely. Here the people of Vivek watched brave warriors fight to the death for fame and gold. I put on a fighting exhibition myself every now and again. Overall, it's a decent arena, although none can match the arena of the Imperial City in Cyrodiil, of course. After I'm done reversing the decline and improving it here, it still won't match the Imperial City arena, but it will be the best outside of Cyrodiil. Alright. Fighting exhibition, eh? I continually get requests to fight in the Vivek arena and show how I became the Grand Champion of the Imperial City arena. I've retired from being an active gladiator, but I do sometimes put on an exhibition match. I wear my heavy armour and fight in 2 or more foes in non-lethal combat. These always draw a large crowd of spectators and warriors looking to learn. I remember one recently where I met one of the most fascinating Dunmer I have ever known. Would you like to hear the tale? Sure, why not? We're not exactly in a rush, are we? As I began the exhibition match against 3 opponents, I noticed a Dunmer male in the front row staring at me intently. His eyes seemed to measure my every move as I fought. Although I had to focus on my 3 opponents, I considered him a 4th for some reason and vowed to not show him any opening or weakness in my defense. It was probably the hardest battle I ever fought because of that, having to physically fight and defeat my 3 on the field and this Dunmer in the spirit. I defeated my 3 and thought I had not shown any weaknesses to the Dunmer. The whole effort positively drained me, however, and I was leaving the arena after the crowd's applause. As I was leaving after the crowd's applause, I paused behind a column and took an exhausted breath. The Dunmer gave a little smile and then stopped his intense scrutiny of me. Later on, a friend brought the Dunmer named Ormsdrathen back to see me. I had heard of Orms, the only master of the Way of the Sword on Vvardenfell. I asked Orms what was his purpose in observing me so intently in my match. He said our mutual friend had laid a friendly wager on whether Orms, a master of the sword, could find an unguarded moment where he could have struck me, a master of heavy armour, down with a single killing blow. Orms said he had found no opening throughout the entire battle and was quite impressed, but afterwards, when I had paused for that exhausted breath, Orms said he had finally seen an opening and could have struck me down then. I was naturally also impressed by his intuitive abilities and insight. We parted as friends. Orms left Vivek shortly after that and went to Molag Mard at the request of the buoyant armigers there to train them in the Way of the Sword. The last I heard, he was still there. Interesting. It's the Way of the Sword then. I can give you a brief idea in Orms' own words. The true Way of the Sword is the craft of defeating the enemy in a fight and nothing other than this. But you should really ask Orms himself. Huh, cool. This, by the way, all this dialogue we're getting here is part of the less generic NPCs mod. I'm fairly certain none of this is in the original game. At all, in fact. No, this guy would normally just have generic dialogue, but obviously, because with the less generic NPCs project, he's become leader of the arena here, and he's a former champion of the Imperial City arena, and he's got this cool story about the Way of the Sword guy. Who I'm quite sure is probably an NPC in Molag Mar, like he says, who we could probably learn something from if we ever met him. So yeah, it's a bloody fantastic mod. It's like interesting NPCs for Skyrim, except the writing for it is much better, and it doesn't suffer from having to voice act everything, obviously, as well. So, and I say suffer because while good voice acting can make it even better, bad voice acting can really ruin it. as it does in the case of a couple of NPCs I can think of in that mod. But anyway, that's by the by. What's the time? 5 PM. Oh, before I go, Seanwyn. Yeah, Poison Gladiator. I'll get right on that, mate, actually, now you mention it. I almost forgot reading his little story there. Yeah, little side quest. Why not? Hopefully it won't prove too bloody difficult to solve like the escaped slave. Anyway, Morag Tong stuff. I wanted to ask him about that, but it doesn't look like it's a topic available for discussion, so never mind. I'm going to stick around for a bit, and I'm going to train up my long blade skill on this here practice dummy, since it's free. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to quick save here. I'm also going to pause the recording, and I'll get back to you chaps when I've finished hacking away at this practice dummy here for a while, because I want to improve my long blade skill a bit, and this is really the only way I can do it other than paying for training, so yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Okie dokie, well, I've increased my skills a little bit. It was incredibly long and boring, but I've finally given up. It's 8 PM, we've gone on into the evening training. I managed to get my long blade up to 28, and I managed to get my short blade up to 50. So that's pretty sweet. And we also got a level up message. We're 12 out of 10 towards our next level, so that's pretty sweet as well. So we should probably find somewhere to sleep, really. Even if somewhere to sleep means the Morag Tong Guildhall. I don't know, maybe we'll have a bit better luck trying to... Beneath Red Mountain, Lord Dagoth sleeps, but when he wakes, all shall rise, and the dust will blow away. Serve your Lord Dagoth, the sixth house has risen, and Dagoth in its glory. Poison Gladiator. Let's just ask the Mad Cultist casually about the Poison Gladiator. I'm not going to taunt her into attacking us. I don't think killing every cultist we come across is really going to accomplish anything. Speaking of accomplishing things, though, what's our... Reputation is now 2. Your fame rating in the world of Morrowind. It's a bit of a weird thing, reputation, because there's no context for it. I mean, what? 2 what? 2 reputation points? Right, yeah, but in relation to what? What is... You know, what is 2 reputation points actually worth, you know? If you could find out what the reputation points of other NPCs were, that'd be interesting. Fighters' quarters. Hello, Altus Salam. You want to talk to me about the Poison Gladiator? Everyone knew Dozakar would win that match because Dozakar was just a better fighter. Those Cathay Rat are usually pretty good. I might have lost to Dozakar, but I'm better than Gorgo. Gorgo's not the type to use poison, it takes too much brains. There's something really suspicious about all of this. Okay. Other people I can question, perhaps, around here. Ooh, glowing green candle. A red candle. Hello? Senindi? I don't think Gorgo did it, but right now that's just my opinion. Huh? Just your opinion right now, huh? Well, what if I were to sweet talk you just a little bit? And hopefully not fail horribly. You're going to be really irritating about this, aren't you? I bet your speechcraft is quite high. What are you? She won't even tell me what her background is now, because she doesn't like me enough. Oh, good grief, really? Is this what it's coming to? 20 out of 100 disposition? I really screwed the pooch on this one, didn't I? 15! Wow. I should really start you by using Charming Touch, rather than resorting to it in situations like this. My fatigue's okay, yeah, so it's not that that's letting me down. This woman is just incredibly hard to persuade, for some reason. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Just even with charm. Ugh. I increased my speechcraft skill if nothing else. Oh dear. This is dreadful. Come on, random number generator. Stop screwing me over here. This is just mean. Ugh, I give up. I give up. I give up. Fine. I'm not getting anything out of her. This after me having sold the Telvanni Bug Musk, of course. Arena Pit. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ha. Hello. Right, yes. Wrong entrance to the Arena Pit, methinks, somehow. Well, there don't appear to be any sort of inns or taverns around here, and that's not terribly surprising, really, when you think about it. The canal works. What might we find down here? I can't imagine there's an inn in the canal works, but you never know. Hello there. Justice never sleeps, he said, emerging from the shadows. Ugh. Let's not ask about an Ordinator about the dissident priest. That would probably be a bad idea. Here in Morrowind, members of the Morag Tong follow an honourable and traditional profession. I do see them from time to time at this post. Okay. Now, why would they be down here when there's nothing else around here? Unless they're in the underworks somewhere, although... Really? Down in the sewers? Yes, I know they bear a striking resemblance to the Balmora sewers. And that's a slaughterfish in the water there. Well, there you go. Some places have alligators in their sewers. Apparently Vivek has slaughterfish in it. It occurs to me, actually, there might be another side to the canal works. There sometimes is. I'll show you what I mean. See, it just goes around here in this little dead end. But if we go upstairs and then we walk across to the other side... I think you can find another part of the canal works. Because going down in those sewers is not ringing any bells for me. No, we've already talked. You're the mad, dark raven, loony cultist. Right, we have a door with torches next to it. Arena storage. Alright. Let's see if I can... I need to restore my fatigue before we go charging into unknown places. But, yeah, there is other people around here. I don't suppose you... You do also see them at this post from time to time. Okay, so... Let's put our helmet back on. Ooh, check it out. Glowing dark elf eyes. I always thought that was kind of cool. If you ever wondered why dark elves have dark skin and red glowing eyes, well, keep wondering for now, but you might find out by the time this Let's Play is over why they're like that. Tap, tap, tap the nose. Right, okay. Let's also switch to not the longsword, just to be on the safe side. A rat. Are you going to be hostile or what? Hey, what's your game? You know what you are, don't you? A longsword practice. However, this longsword, I have to point out, actually, because I forgot to earlier, it's not doing a lot of damage because it's incredibly badly damaged. For all that swinging away at the practice dummy, it kind of damaged it quite a bit, and this rat really is not interested in fighting back at all, is he? I feel slightly bad about doing this now. Pacifist rat. Yeah, it's condition 153 out of 900. Our Demon Tanto is in not much better condition. The Silver Viper Blade's alright still, though. Hello, Chance Folly. Security increased. Interesting. Locked and trapped, eh? Locked and trapped. Not locked. Oh, hello. There's a bedroll down here. Along with somebody's dinner. Interesting. I don't know if I can get these open, actually. I don't think I've got a spell or a scroll that will do the job. I've got an Amulet of Opening, but that only does 20 points. I don't think I've got any on Ducey's Unhinging scrolls. I do not, in fact. Curses. Well, a bunch of locked and trapped doors are my only lead at this point, it would seem. I guess I'll have to try and scrape up a few more pennies and then see if I can find an unlocking scroll or a spell even, you know. Preferably a spell. Maybe I could go to a spell maker, actually. That'd mean going back to the Mages Guild in the Foreign Quarter, wouldn't it? Ugh, well... It is night time, so maybe we should head back there, go to the old Black Shulk Corner Club and catch 40 winks. And it's going to take me a little while to get there as well, so I think I'll skip this part of the recording. Now, it occurs to me that we have wonderful, wonderful star constellations out here in front of us. And I also happen to be in the possession of a copy of The Firmament. Ta-da! Although, to be honest with you, it's probably going to be a bit difficult to pick anything out, isn't it, really? About this here. Anything in the book that matches that? Oh, some of them don't have pictures. In fact, most of them don't. That's a shame. Huh. Well, maybe we can find the mage, perhaps? It's the least complex looking one of the lot. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Well, they're up there somewhere, though. I'm quite sure they are. I reckon that there is the serpent, quite possibly. But I might be wrong. But I reckon it's the serpent, personally. Anyway, look at all the nebulas and stuff out there. It reminds me a bit of the Skyrim skill screen, actually. Anyway. You know what? That might be what it's taken from, come to think of it. Anyway... Let's go up here, and we'll get a room at the corner club, the Black Shulk. Now we've chased off the racists. Hopefully we'll still be welcome there. Chasing off the racists after all. Oh, an enchanter. Hello. What? Welcome, Dark Elf. It is good to see a customer in the store. That annoying fool outside chases them away. Did you not see him as you entered? It's that Marcel Morad outside my shop. He stands all day, selling ridiculous wares. Get rid of him. I would like to, but the law I'm talking to Master Yoda, apparently. Get rid of him, I would like to. But the law says he's within his rights. Perhaps you could find a way? I will try and make him leave. You think you can? I would like that. Make him go away, and I will have rewards for you. Jolly good. I suppose I could... Oh, I don't have a soul gem, so I guess that's a moot point. My health rape? Scroll of health rape? Good God. It's a bit graphic. Black death, black despair, black fate, black mind, black scorn, black sloth, black weakness. Drathis soul rot. Scroll of hellfire. On Ducey's Unhinging, 125 gold. We can just fucking afford one of those. By a whisker. Have these scrolls of vitality. Then I can get the other scroll of Unducey's Unhinging. So I don't know which door we need to open, to be honest with you. But it also does leave the problem of those two traps, for which I really need a telekinesis spell. And it's proving unbelievably difficult to find a telekinesis spell for some reason. I'll bite you down just a little bit, dude. Please. Come on. There we go. Well, let's see if we can't deal with this annoying fool for him. Glad I ran into that place. I didn't even know it was there. What was his name? He was a Breton, whoever it was. Marcel Morad. This looks like the guy. Right. I will wait for my fatigue to restore. First. Before we talk to this guy. He's trying to convince him while we're out of breath.
So hard.
Excuse me. Right, that'll do it. Hello, my friend. What a glorious time it is. Perhaps I can interest you in one of my fine wares. All magical, all for a low, low price. A man of my line of work must find a way to make a living. I'm an actor, or at least I hope to be. I am the poor player who struts and frets for a while on a stage, and then has lunch. I am full of sound and furiousness. Oh, if there were a good theatre troupe in this town, I could give up selling these baubles. Oh, woe is me. You should leave this area. Leave here? I could not. It is the finest spot in all Vivek from which to sell my wares. Otherwise, I'd have nothing upon which to support myself. Dear friend, neither a borrower nor an honest tradesman be. That's what my father always told me. Oh. Theatre troupe. Ah, but to have a company of players. For only then will I be able to showcase my arts. Yes, all the world's a stage, but no one wants to pay me to act on it. Maybe if you like me a bit more, you'll leave. Probably not. There's probably some obscure solution to this little puzzle. Like I have to have a certain book in my inventory to complete it. And believe me, as ridiculous as that sounds, there are some quests in this game that are solved that way. So Morrowind, I swear to Christ, is one of those games that was invented just to sell copies of cheat guides and FAQs. How would you leave, maybe? Huh? What the? Have you heard? 7 victims here in Vivek. All with their throats slit. When it was just a few Outlanders killed, the Ordinators weren't making much fuss, but now that they've had 2 of their own people with slit throats, they seem to be very concerned at the Hall of Justice. I've heard that the Office of the Watch is quietly looking around for some special help. Anything that can kill 2 Ordinators before they can draw their weapons sounds like it will need special help. Oh, another side quest. My goodness me. Well, I'm a bit stuck with this fella. I really don't know what to do with him. Sorry, Mr. Argonian Enchanter Man. I don't know. I just have no idea. I don't suppose you'd know anything about a theatre troupe. Oh, what the heck? You barter. You sell guides. You train in a few things as well. Theatre troupe? Crassius Curio is quite a patron of the arts. He commissioned some artists to do a mural for him. And I heard that he's written a new play and would like to have it performed. He'll probably be putting together a group soon. Oh, help us all. New play. Well, it's probably no better than Crassius's old plays, which were awful. Dance of the Three-Legged Guar was quite a sight, though. Okay. Right, well. Guess it paid to ask around about that. Dance of the Three-Legged Guar. Genius. Okay, Rarel. Black Shulk. Yes, yes, I know about all that already. Bed. Yep, please. I think it's down here. Somewhere. Oh, hello. Who are you? Who, sir, are you? Hilf the Harrier. Hail, Dark Elf. Is this your first time in the Black Shulk? And it must be your first visit to Vivek. I've never heard of anyone first arriving in the Foreign Quarter that didn't head directly to the Black Shulk, no matter what his business. You won't find more spirited company in any corner club in Vvardenfell. These guys really know how to blow off steam. Or by poking Argonians. This is Vivek, all of what you can see. If you're new to the city, it is easy to get lost, so you best pick a landmark and always check where you are in relation to it as you move around the city. Right, well, anyway. Let's have a sleep, shall we? The bamboo candlestick green. Interesting. And a locked chest in our room. How odd. Oh, let's rest for 10 hours, I guess. You've ascended to level 5! Hooray! Strength. Speed. And I'm half tempted to grab personality, to be honest, but... Agility? Intelligence? Agility, I suppose. Yeah, you can never have too much agility. Ability to dodge and hit targets in melee, you know, it's a big deal, so... But the speed increase is good. Speed's up to, what is it now, 63? That's not bad. We're moving a little bit faster. And we got a little bit more carrying capacity as well, which is nice. So, thank you, Rarel. Oh, while we're here, let's grab a seat, so to speak. I really do miss the ability to sit down from the other games. Where are Julia's notes? There they are. Okay. I wish I had a drink here to sort of wet my whistle with, but here we go. The following are Julia's notes for Caius Cusades. The history of the Ashlanders and the Nerevarine cult. In First Era barbaric Dunmer culture, settled Dunmer clans, brackets the Great Houses, and nomadic Dunmer tribes like the Ashlanders were roughly equal in numbers and wealth. Under the civilized peace of the Grand Council, and with the strong central authority of the Temple, the economic and military power of the settled Dunmer quickly outstripped that of the nomadic Dunmer. The nomadic Dunmer were marginalized into the poorest, most hostile land, in particular into the Vvardenfell wastes. For the Ashlanders, the return of a reincarnated Nerevar represents a longed-for and largely romanticized golden age of Nerevar's peace, when the nomadic tribes enjoyed equality with the settled Dunmer, and before the Dunmer people had, for the most part, abandoned traditional ancestor worship for the autocratic theocracy of the Tribunal Temple. The Nerevar of the Ashlanders. This is the story of Nerevar as an Ashlander might tell it. In ancient days, the Deep Elves and a great host of Outlanders from the west came to steal the land of the Dunmer. In that time, Nerevar was the great Khan and war leader of the House people, but he honoured the ancient spirits and the tribal law, and became as one of us. So when Nerevar pledged upon his great ring of the ancestors, one clan under Moon and Star, to honour the ways of the spirits and the rights of the land, all the tribes joined the House people to fight a great battle at Red Mountain. Though many Dunmer, tribesmen and housemen, died at Red Mountain, the Dwemer were defeated and their evil magics destroyed, and the Outlanders driven from the land. But after this great victory, the power-hungry Khans of the great houses slew Nerevar in secret, and, setting themselves up as gods, neglected Nerevar's promises to the tribes. But it is said that Nerevar will come again with his ring, and cast down the false gods, and by the power of his ring will make good his promises to the tribes, to honour the spirits, and drive the outsiders from the land. Persecution of the Nerevarine cult. The Tribunal Temple regards this mysticism and prophecy of the Nerevarine cult as primitive superstition. The Ashlander ancestor cults, and the Nerevarine in particular, have always decried the worship of the living Dunmer as abominations, suspecting the unnatural lifetimes of the Tribunal to be signs of profane sorcery or necromancy. Though the authoritarian and intolerant temple priesthood has always been inclined to tolerate Ashlander ancestor cult practices, they have always threatened Nerevarine claimants with death or imprisonment. And while generally tolerant of various cult worships, the Imperial Commission of the Occupation outlaws cults hostile to the Emperor and the Empire, and threatens members of such cults with imprisonment or death. The Ordinators are allowed a free hand when dealing with outlawed cults like the Nerevarine. Peakstar and other incarnates in the past. In the past, others have claimed to be the reincarnated Nerevar of prophecy. The most recent is known as Peakstar, a mysterious figure who has reportedly appeared and disappeared among the Waste tribes for over the last 30 years. The temple notes that these false incarnates discredit the Nerevarine prophecies. Singularly and illogically, the Ashlanders acknowledge a history of false claimants, calling them failed incarnates, but they regard them as proof of the validity of the prophecies rather than contradiction. Among the Nerevarine, there is a fable of a cavern of the incarnates, where the spirits of the failed incarnates dwell. The Nerevarine cult is a mystical cult, and it glorifies rather than shrinks from contradictions. Yes, as we've previously established, they're a bit tapped, by the sounds of it. So there we go. Most of that I think we kind of already knew, but it's good to refresh the old memory, and some of it was new, about that, those bits about Peakstar and the false incarnates and stuff, for example. Wonder where Peakstar is. Or who Peakstar is. Anyway, well, apparently, if we were really desperate to get rid of this guy here and do this side quest, which I'm thinking maybe I will do, we'd have to go to the Hlaalu Canton, I think, and find Crassius Curio, which is tempting, considering Crassius Curio is one of the more memorable NPCs in this game, but we've also got loads of other stuff to do as well, and apparently there's some sort of murder investigation we might be able to help with as well. Got our hands full a bit here, haven't we, really? First things first, though, I want to go back to the arena canton, A, to look for the Morag Tong base, and B, to question some more people about this poisoned dagger thing. What was it, like murder of another gladiator? Were they murdered or were they just poisoned? No, they were murdered, weren't they? Because he was killed, even though it wasn't a match to the death. That was the curious thing about it, right? Look at those god rays. They are awesome. Yes, that's High Fane down there. We'll get to that eventually. Redoran Canton. Arena's over here. Okay. Arena Canton. Right, yes, we want in here. Still don't know what I'm going to do about the traps. Have I got a probe? I've got a pair of probes with fuck all uses on them still. This is not good. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it open with just those. I'm either going to have to let myself get zapped in the face by the traps, or I don't know. I really have no idea.